It's starting to dawn on me that I am an incredibly healthy emotional roller coaster. And typically, when people would use the term emotional roller coaster, it's always negative, as if emotions are to be avoided, like you're expected to avoid them and the journey they take you on, as if you could. And the world I live in is a world of emotions, layers of it, like the depths of the ocean. And you need a certain amount of shape-shifting ability to handle the pressures at different levels and different depths of emotion. And throughout trial and error and lived experience, in some capacity, I can splash around on the surface with the best of them, and I can submerge myself into the darkest depths where it would require bioluminescence to be able to really make out what's going on, because it gets that dark, and it can get that dark. And wild enough, it can get that dark and it be appropriate to experience yourself at that level. A lot of us tread in those spaces of our emotional oceans as if we don't belong there. The territory is foreign because these aren't emotional spaces that are talked about openly, socially. And in order to establish true intimacy with ourselves, we have to be willing to go to those depths and see ourselves in those waters, in those currents, in those vulnerable moments of those uncomfortable emotions. Because there's some type of medicine in there that you can only reap the benefits of once you've sat in that kind of darkness. And you don't stay in the darkness. That's not the expectation. You go to those depths and then you allow yourself up to air, and then you go back into a different level of depth where you get a different level of wisdom, and then you come back up for air and you make light of the situation and you play in the waves on the surface, and then you go back deep within and you find the quiet solitude. See, some of us get caught up in the turbulence of the waves and we forget about diving deep, and then some of us get so weighed down in the depth that we forget to come back up to the surface for air. And all I'm saying is, in the midst of being a healthy emotional roller coaster, in the midst of being able to be both surfer and submarine, we're all just trying to establish a balance of getting familiar with our emotional landscape, our emotional ocean, our emotional spaces, our emotional bodies. I've been doing these somatic movement sessions with Cami, and they're life-changing because they're really helping me to start to see how much I have abandoned the memory of my body. In a sense, it could be seen even as spiritual bypassing. I enjoy living in the fulfillment of my spiritual self. I love navigating the emotional spaces within my internal world and my inner community. But then when it comes time to spend time with my body and the trauma it's experienced and the nervous system that for the most part is pretty regulated, the attachment style that's pretty secure, and yet even in me, in the regulation and the security, there is dysregulated pockets that are so fucking startling. There are anxious attachment moments that are so disruptive. And I just want my body to feel supported in what it remembers, and I want to be able to teach my body, reparent my nervous system, to feel as confident in experiencing emotional roller coasters as I am from an emotional and a mental and a spiritual standpoint. This finite, mortal part of me, this impermanent part of me, with all of its physicality, all of its matter mixed with this energy, it deserves the same liberation that I have discovered emotionally. But I have to come back and teach that to it. The same way that I adore communicating and sharing with others and being relatable to others, I want to come back in and be relatable to this frame, this vessel. And that means I have to give it permission to reveal to me things that I dissociated when times got hard and abandoned my body to experience by itself. So I'm coming back to watch the movie that my nervous system replays, the horror film, to see the suspense of it, and to try to rewrite the story in my nerves, in my circulatory system, in the way that I breathe, in the way that I move, in the way that I hold my shoulders, in my posture, in the way that sometimes I can catch myself holding my breath and not recognizing it, in the ways I can feel myself bracing physically throughout life, almost as if waiting for impact. There's so much that this physical part of me deserves to find its balance through, deserves to unburden itself from. And I'm committed to escorting it to that place. And I can only imagine what that will do for me in my entirety, for all of my development, to be able to integrate my body into this confident, free place. It's a work in progress. And I am so elated at all the moments frequently that I've been able to praise myself for the growth and the progress I see. Even in the subtle moments where a tantrum that I'm having mentally doesn't last as long. A day of needing to cry on and off. You know, the tears just don't take up the whole day anymore. Maybe just the first part of it. Those subtle growth spurts I am witnessing like a proud parent and saying, well done, sweet girl, well done. I am with you. I see you. I'm so proud of you. What do you need? How can I help? We're on our way. Yeah. We are a healthy emotional roller coaster. We are a balanced ocean of emotion. We are an adventurer throughout our emotional landscape. We're an explorer, and there is no part of us that is off limits to us. We plan to adventure and sightsee and explore and be a nomad throughout these emotional and energetic and physical aspects of us. And we're going to continue to be a lighthouse and remind other people they can do the same if they choose to. And we won't judge those who decide that they would like to just splash around on the surface. But we will be a proud escort to those who want to reach their depths. Because we're not stopping this lifetime until we meet ours. And that's a promise.